gift cards, $100 gift cards to give away. So we'll have a look at the end, see who asks the best questions and pass them on to the relevant people. You can also, if you're on Twitter, as well as putting your question in here, you could also tweet us a question if you wanted to. You can get us at Alloy CP. So anything that mentions us in there, we can have a look at the end and answer any questions from there as well. Moving on to the agenda for the webinar today. This is the introduction. Then we'll just run through the features and benefits and some strategy around the new Yealink phone. And at the end, we'll have some question and answer time. We can change slide. Okay, and just introducing you to our presenters for the day. Scott Young, our Product Development Manager here at Alloy, he'll be taking you through the majority of the presentation, the majority of the agenda. And then the question time will be ably assisted by Jessica Chen and Ailsa Wu, and they're based out of the Yealink factory in China, and they're on the call with us today as well. So without taking any more of your time, let me hand over to Scott and we'll get into it.
Thank you very much, Kirsty. Okay, before we do get started, what I might get you guys to do is we have a quick poll question that I'd like you guys to answer. So I'll launch the poll question now. Basically, it's just a quick question asking you where you're actually calling in from, whether it's Australia, New Zealand, the US, or another country. So if we can quickly just get that done, that'd be great. All right, thank you for that. Okay, moving on to the agenda of the webinar. So the webinar today is based on Yealink's new addition to their T4 series product range. It's the T48G. Before we move into specific information on the T48G, we'll quickly go have a bit of a run through of the entire T4 series. So starting from the lower range, we have the SIP-T41P. It's a low-end fast Ethernet screen phone with a fast Ethernet interface and a grayscale monochrome screen. Moving on is the SIP-T42G, which is a very similar phone to the T41P, except the Ethernet interface on the T40G is a gigabit interface rather than fast Ethernet. Okay, next in the range is the T46G, which is the mid-range phone of the series with a large color screen and again a gigabit interface. And then moving on to the new SIP-T48G, this is the high-end Yealink phone with a 7-inch color touchscreen and again a gigabit interface. We also have a few accessories to go with the Yealink range, or the T4 series range I should say, sorry. We have the EXP40 expansion module, which can be used alongside the SIP-T48G and the SIP-T46G. We also have the BT40, which is the Bluetooth dongle, again supported by the T46G and T48G. That can be used to add Bluetooth headsets to the phones. And we also have the corded Yealink headset, the YHS32, and also the Yealink EHS36, which is the electronic hook switch. Again, only supported by the T48G and the T46G. Okay, a bit more detail on the T4 series of the phones. So we'll just look mainly, and we'll focus mainly on the SIP-T48G here today. So as you can see, it has a 7-inch 800 by 480 pixel color display, which is a touchscreen display. Gigabit interface, supports the BT40 USB dongle, also has support for the electronic hook switch, and also has a large number of programmable keys or DSS keys with up to 29 programmable keys available on the SIP-T48G. We can also register up to 6 SIP accounts and supports TR069 provisioning, supports OpenVPN, VPN, and also has support for up to 6 of the expansion modules. Okay, so move on to the highlights of the T48G. Along with the entire T4 series range of IP phones, it's Yealink's revolutionary new design of IP phones. The T48G has a large 7-inch 800 by 480 pixel color touchscreen with backlight. Again, we have support for the Bluetooth headsets for the USB dongle. Now, the USB port on the back of the T48G can also be used as a charging device. So you can actually plug your iPhone or your Android device into the back of the phone and charge your mobile phone from the SIP-T48G. Okay, now the DSS keys, so programmable keys, once again up to 29 programmable keys. So the ability to be able to program BLF keys, speed dial keys, shortcut keys, and yeah, the ability to have up to 29 of those programmed on the SIP-T48G. Now, by one press of the button on the T48G, you can actually view all 29 DSS keys at once. So on one screen, you can actually see all 29 DSS keys. Again, with all of the T4 series phones, we have the Optima HD voice support, so G722 codec support. We have dual gigabit Ethernet ports with PoE supported on one of the ports to power the phone. Up to 6 SIP accounts, wired and wireless headset support, expansion module support, so up to 6 expansion modules. The phone can also be wall mountable and also has 2 different feet positioning points as well, so you can position the phone in 2 different angles. In terms of the provisioning support, again, the same as the whole entire Yealink range. There's a large range of provisioning options. So we have zero touch, we have DHCP options, we have TR69, so lots of different, and also Yealink's RPS service is also supported. So lots of different provisioning options for the T48G. Okay, now looking at the unique design of the T48G. As you can see, the large 7-inch color screen is a fantastic addition to the T4 series phones. Very user-friendly screen, and the design of the T48G, along with the rest of the T4 series, is a fantastic design and a really good-looking, good-looking phone. Okay, once again, the 7-inch screen. It's a bright, colourful screen, very easy to use. The touch capability of the screen is very sensitive, so it's a nice touch screen to use. Okay, so moving into a few of the features of the touch screen. Yealink have now designed or made the DSS keys more user-friendly. So the actual DSS keys have now got a transparent design, making it easier to view the background display on the phone when you have a lot of programmable keys assigned. Okay, up in the top left-hand corner of the screen is your default SIP accounts. So if you have got the phone programmed for multiple SIP accounts, all those accounts will appear on the left-hand side of the screen. All you need to do is click on the account you want to use and start dialing a phone number. So it makes it really easy to switch between the accounts on the phone, and also makes it very easy to pick up a line and make your call. As you can see from the background here, you can upload any image and use that as your background. Okay, now when you're scrolling through pages on the phone, or you've gone through menu options in the phone, Yealink have now introduced a home key on the phone to quickly and easily take you back to the home screen. So if you do go through some options in the phone and all of a sudden you've gone through 5 or 6 pages, all we need to do is click on the home screen, and that'll take you back to the home screen of the phone. So as I mentioned earlier on, the DSS keys, so up to 29 DSS keys. So the little on the right-hand side of the phone, you have a DSS key option with the arrows pointing out. What that does is actually allows you to view all 29 DSS keys on the screen at one time. And same thing, press it again, and it actually closes the DSS keys and hides them away. Now you've always got the DSS keys down the left and right-hand side, so they will always appear. But by pressing the DSS key down the bottom right-hand side, that will allow you to view all programmed DSS keys. Okay, now what we can also do in regards to configuring your DSS keys, now this can be done from the web interface of the phone, it can be done by your provisioning options in the phone, but what we can also do is program the DSS keys from the actual screen. So what we do is we hold in the DSS key, it will take you to the DSS key configuration screen. You can then program your DSS key from this screen. And as you can see, you can actually program all 29 keys from the one screen. Alright, moving into the directory setup of the T48G. So what we can do, what Yealink have tried to do is make the interface very similar to mobile phones, the way mobile phones work these days. So what we can actually do is we can select multiple contacts from our directory. We can either delete those contacts, we can move them to a blacklist, or we can move them into buddy folders or your contact lists. So rather than having to move one contact at a time, we can select multiple contacts and move them, delete them, or blacklist them all in one go. So it makes it very convenient and easy to use. Okay, another unique feature on the T48G is when we're actually in a conference and you're the one hosting the conference, what we can actually do is mute the far end participants. So if you're in a conference and you're hearing lots of background noise or somebody's typing away on a keyboard in the conference while you're talking, what we can do is from the T48G screen, we can actually mute those far end participants. Okay, Bluetooth support. So by using the BT40 USB dongle, which plugs into the USB port on the back of the T48G, we can connect connect a USB Bluetooth headset. Once again, that USB port can also be used to charge your iPhone or your Android device. So no need to have a charger at work or use your PC. We can just plug it into the back of the T48G and charge your phone as well. So that's a great feature. Alright, so now we'll move into the software features of the T48G. So T48G is based on Yealink's version 72 firmware. Supports all the same provisioning parameters and methods of provisioning as a T2 series, so the M7 format. We have the ability to be able to search remote phone books from within the interface on the T48G. We have the ability to be able to configure redundant SIP servers on the T48G. So if your primary SIP server fails, the IP phone can automatically re-register to the secondary configured SIP server. We also have IP version 6 support, so DHCP or statically set parameters, VLAN support. So it can also be, VLAN options can be configured via DHCP, or they can be statically set as well in the phone. And then the same as the rest of the Yealink range of phones, we also have all the BroadSoft feature support as well. So the BroadWorks Anywhere, remote office support, BroadSoft directory, BroadSoft call logs. So all of the extended services interface, or the XSI services, are all BroadSoft features that are supported by the T48G and also the rest of the Yealink phones. Some other features are the call center features. So we have what Yealink call hoteling or hot desking support, queue status notification, the ability to be able to log in and log out of queues, wrap-up time, all supported on the T48G. And then we also have some standard phone features, paging, hunt groups, forwarding, DND, all standard features that you would see on most phones that are all supported on the T48G as well. Okay, moving on to the marketing strategy of the T48G. Yealink has positioned the T48G as their high-end phone. Yealink have designed the phone for CEOs, CTOs, senior directors, and other executive professionals. Now, once again, earlier on I was talking about how Yealink have designed the phone to be easy to use and to be very similar to your mobile phone in regards to the touchscreen and the ability and the features that you have by using the touchscreen. So they've really closed the gap between a mobile phone and a dedicated desktop phone. So Yealink's target market for the T4 series or the T48G phone is for larger businesses, enterprises, SMB, carriers, and ITSP markets. So once again, it's been built for all market segments, but Yealink is focusing on the higher end markets. So in terms of the feature set between the T2 series and the T4 series, as you can see from the graph, the T4 series is up there above the T2 series in regards to quality of the phone and also the design features of the phone as well. Okay, before we move on to the Q&A, we'll just run through a couple of compatibility, not compatibility, but differences between other vendors' phones and the T48G phone. So in regard comparing the T48G with the Polycom range of the VVX 500 and 600s, the T48G once again has up to 29 paperless or touchscreen enabled DSS keys. It has DSS keys D&D keys, paging support, all supported on the actual phone itself. So the VVX 600-500 doesn't support any paperless DSS keys. The keys are still hard button keys on the phone that must be programmed and also written on. Basically, a piece of paper needs to be inserted into the phone and written on to tell you what button that's programmed for. Okay, now moving on with the large screen support of the T48G. So T48G, once again, 7-inch touchscreen display. The VVX 600 has a 4.3-inch display, and the VVX 500 only has a 3.5-inch display. XML remote phone book support. T48G supports this. The VVX 600-500 does not support this. The T48G also supports more provisioning options than the VVX 600 and 500. So for instance, the T48G supports the TR069, whereas the VVX 600 and 500 doesn't. In regards to network functionality, the T48G supports VPN and IP version 6, and the VVX 600-500 don't support them. Okay, moving on to a comparison between the T48G and the SNOM 870. So once again, the T48G has 29 DSS keys, 870 only has 15 DSS keys. The T48G, again, once again, 7-inch touchscreen support, 800 by 480 pixels. The SNOM 870 only has a 4.3-inch screen, which is 480 by 272 pixels. The 870 doesn't support Bluetooth, whereas the T48 does when used with the BT40. The T48G is also wall mountable, where the 870 is not. Okay, and to finish off, we'll just compare it now with the Astra 6739i. So T48G, once again, 7-inch touchscreen. The 6739i only has a 5.7-inch touchscreen and is 480 by 272 pixels. Excuse me. The T48G also has navigation keys, whereas the 6739i doesn't. XML remote phone book support, supported by T48G, not supported by the 6739i. And same again with provisioning features, T48G supports TR069, whereas the 6739i doesn't support it. Okay guys, excuse me, that basically wraps up the presentation. We'll now move on to some Q&A questions. So what we'll do is, if you do have any questions, what we can do is if you raise your hand from the sidebar on your GoToWebinar panel, I'll be able to unmute you and you can ask some audio questions. Okay, so it looks like there's quite a few chat questions coming through, but let's have a look if there is anybody that has any audio questions. Nobody at this point, so what we might do is have a look at some of the chat questions. Okay, so a lot of them have been answered, but there are still some that haven't. Okay, what have we got? I'm sorry, I'm just looking for a couple of questions that haven't been answered yet. Looks like Ailsa's been on the ball and answered a lot of the chat questions. Okay, so there's a question here from Colin Thompson about OpenVPN. So at this point, Colin, yes, OpenVPN is the only option at this point. No other VPN protocols are supported at this point. Okay, guys, any other questions? Okay, what I'll do now is I'll hand back to Kirsty, and okay, hang on, one more question. Okay, so Colin, any thoughts to open up to other VPN types? So at this point, Yealink have always supported OpenVPN. They support that on all their range of IP phones. So what I can do is discuss with Yealink and see what options they do have. What I might do is just quickly switch over to Ailsa, and I'll see if Yealink are thinking about introducing any other VPN features. So Ailsa, can you please answer that question?
Hello. Yes. About this question, sorry, we just support OpenVPN yet, and we don't have a plan to support other VPN. If you have this request, I will submit to our product department for evaluating. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Ailsa. Okay, any other questions, guys, before I hand back to Kirsty? Okay. All right, Kirsty, handing back to you now.
Okay. The next thing that we just want to do, we've got a couple more polls. So the first one, or the next one, I should say, is, which we should have done a bit earlier, I think, the business of your company. So hopefully you can all see that and just select an answer. Okay, so most people here are system integrators from the poll here. I'm just going to close that off in a couple more seconds. Okay, and then we're interested to know about the PBX systems that you use and install. So we'll just launch that one. So which system does your business either use, or what do you install the most? Oh, 3CX, yay. Bit of Cisco in there as well. If there's others, maybe feel free to write them in the chat box. Effigy is just not there because we can only fit 5 options on here, but I agree completely. That was my question too, those Effigy. I just had one more question come through, so I'll need Craig to chat. Got to change the settings here, but the question is, can the T48G receive video from a door station? So maybe Ailsa can help us on that one.
Hello? Hi, Kirsty.
Hi.
Yes, can you repeat again?
Yeah, so the question is, can you get video from a door station to come through to that phone? So could you use it in, say, a reception area to see who's on the other side of the door?
I'm sorry, what T48G doesn't support camera now, so we don't support video now. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You would need to use the BP530 for that. It's the only Yealink phone at this point that supports video and also can receive a video stream from such devices as a door intercom.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, it doesn't look like it. We'll have a look through the questions that were posed. They're all neatly laid out in front of us here, and select the 2 people that we will be passing on the gift cards to. So good luck and thank you for joining into our web conference today. Scott, is that all from you?
Yep, certainly is. If there's no more questions, then I'd like to thank you all for coming, and we'll see you next time.